Hello, everyone. This is Jim Lowenstern. This is the Exponential Files. We are back on the air today with one of my favorite realtors, Janet Leigh Scott from Martha's Vineyard and I'd say beyond. Wouldn't you say beyond, Janet?
Oh, yes. The vineyard is a magical place. So, yes, beyond is a good word.
We're both with EXP, so we're going to cover a lot of topics today. We're going to cover everything about luxury, Martha's Vineyard, Janet's business, and EXP. I might have mentioned that already. So let's start off, Janet, with how long have you been in the business? How did you get started? What companies did you work for, and how did you end up with EXP?
So, my background prior to real estate, I was in corporate America for about 35 years. And we had bought our home over on Martha's Vineyard in 2001 with the intention of knowing that at some point it would be where we would live. So, Staples did what they do. Any large corporation does it. When you're too old and too expensive, they give you a package and say bye bye, which is okay. They were very generous with me. And my husband said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And prior to doing what I do for a living, I personally bought and sold property all around the country at, as I was moving for business. So it was really easy. What I did at Staples, I read contracts, I negotiated deals. So those were really strengths I had that you can just parlay those over into doing real estate.
So,
So
so can I interrupt for just a
yeah,
moment? So you say you bought properties in different areas, and I'm guessing these were rental units that you bought?
oh gosh, no, I decided to buy houses. So I lived in Richmond, Virginia. I moved from there to Grapevine, Texas, because the company I worked for was in Fort Worth. Bought a house there, got transferred to a new company in Denver, Colorado, sold the house in Grapevine, bought a condo in the Denver Tech Center, then got recruited to come to Staples. I let go of that condo. I buy a condo close to the office. And then when we decided we were going to live here permanently, I worked with the original agent that had sold me my condo and had her resell it for me. A lot of people said, "Well, Janet, you're an agent. Why don't you sell your condo?" I said, if you want property on Martha's Vineyard, I'm your gal. Metro West Mass, not so much. And she did a phenomenal job. And and in the meantime, we'd bought our house here in 2001. So I'd done a lot of real estate transactions that had
Here
nothing to do
being
with
Martha's Vineyard. But let's talk about that for a moment. So you've lived in Texas, Virginia, where else?
Denver, Colorado,
Denver, yeah.
Hopkinton, Mass, which is near
Hopkinton, yeah.
mhm,
Yep,
where they
where they
start the
start
marathon.
the Boston Marathon
Yep,
every year, except for, did they miss a year? I think they did.
I think they did.
Uh, yeah. So, and Martha's Vineyard, which is also Massachusetts,
Yes.
technically Massachusetts. Uh, so, which of all those places did you like the best?
Um, I made a decision because I was single, and I made a decision when I was going to relocate to all of these places that I would find out something to really love about it. Because it was, when you go from Virginia, which is very lush, a lot of right, you've got the ocean, you go to inland in Texas and no ocean. So I had to
Right.
find things about that I liked. Then I went from that to Denver, which if you ski, you're in Fat City, but if
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but as far as summertime activities, hiking's about it because there's no large bodies of water.
Right.
So I just found different things about each place that was different than the others and that I would like. I can
Very
honestly,
smart.
yeah, because you're not going to replicate what you had here. It's just not going to happen. So you figure out, how do I, um, how do I make this something I'll enjoy? And so that's what I did. But I will say now, I
So,
love
so what did
going.
you do? What did you do in Texas? Did you wrangle cattle? What what did you do for fun there?
I learned how to line dance.
Line dance. Denver, did you take up skiing?
I did take up skiing when I was in Denver.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then in Martha's Vineyard, I guess you take up real estate and the beach.
tennis, pickle, pool, fun
Golf?
stuff. My husband plays golf.
Okay.
I lose interest. I used to play golf as a child,
Okay.
with my dad.
So do you see the picture on the screen of the pond?
I do.
Okay. Should we talk about what this means to our viewers?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jim. So I am representing a house that is, if you're looking where I'm looking, it's sort of the clearing on the upper left-hand corner. Um, and it is a house. This is Seth's Pond, which is actually a kettle pond. When you
Explain what a kettle pond is.
so
It has to do with a glacier
yeah, the
thousands of years ago, tens of thousands of
exactly,
years
that's what
ago.
it is, just in a nutshell. And you can go around the vineyard and you'll see where these glaciers, as it was forming, moved different things. It's actually pretty. In fact, the entire island sits on an aquifer. So they are very the Conservation Commission is just stringent on making sure that we maintain the health of the aquifer.
So are there
Um,
fish in that pond?
uh, I'm sure there's some. Most people use it to paddleboard.
Okay.
Um, they may kayak. There's one gal who gets there every day and swims all the way across and all the way back.
Okay. How big is it? I can't really tell.
Oh, it's a small pond. It's like
Okay.
I said, it's easy for paddleboarding. I mean, you could canoe, but three strokes, you're probably already on the other side.
Okay. All right.
Um, and people love to come there. This location is actually off of a Lambert's Cove Road, which two of the prettiest beaches on the vineyard is Lambert's Cove Beach and Long Point Beach. And as a resident in West Tisbury, you can get a beach pass, nominal fee for parking, and you can go to both of those during the high season. Nobody else can. You have to be a resident of West Tisbury.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
the one thing I remember about visiting Martha's Vineyard during the season. It's very tough to find parking at the
yeah,
beach unless you go to what is it? South Beach,
the South
Katana
Beach or
Beach.
in South Beach or State Beach.
Yeah.
Both of those have a lot of parking, but they're
And
always packed.
and they're always crowded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can teach an old dog new tricks.
You're
So
doing great.
that's the view of the house that you're selling. Let's talk about the house. Let's talk about the price. And that view is just amazing.
It is. And the porch is actually larger than what it appears to be there. It's a very, very large porch. And then underneath of the porch, you can walk out from the basement right to the water level.
Okay.
The house was built in 1968. It was actually it was not a bungalow kit. It was like a um, mid-century kit, and the seller was a craftsman, and he built the house for his wife. And at the time, they had 5 children, and they would come and stay here during the summer. So what you don't see, but you get an idea, every angle of this of the roof line in every room has a a vault. So it could be vaulting in one direction and you go to the other room, it vaults in another. The rooms themselves, as far as bedrooms, are small, but because the ceiling's vaulted, it gives it this really expansive feeling.
How many bedrooms?
4 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. And as it is required on the Vineyard, we have an outdoor shower as well. It's not required. Everybody wants to use the outdoor showers on the Vineyard. It is the main level, excluding this porch, is right around 1,600 square feet. And there's a partially finished basement underneath. One of the interesting things about it is the owner was a phenomenal photographer, traveled all around the country, or the world rather. She had a dark room in the basement, and that's where she did all of her, film editing, and then, hanging it up to dry and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very cool house that's been in the family since that time. Parents have passed. 2 of the children have passed, and now you've got one that lives here in the house, one lives in Arizona, and one in New Mexico. So they're gonna, sell it and move on. The price of the property is listed at $1,950,000. And while that is a big number, I'm not going to say it's not. The largest part of the number is because the assessed value of the land is 1.3 million. Forget the house.
Okay.
So this is definitely either someone is going to want to buy it as land, tear it down, rebuild, or most everyone I've shown it to, they love that mid-century vibe thing. They want to come in with white paint and optimism and just make it, kind of bring it back to life again.
Okay. So I'm guessing it's heated, it's insulated, it's got all that, right?
Well, so it does have forced hot air oil heat, no AC, but the rooms are vented. So, and you're going to want to change out and get an updated HVAC anyway. So you could have, forced hot air, heat, and AC. It's insulated. It's been used as a year-round house for a couple of decades.
Any fireplace?
It does. It has a Jetsons fireplace. Do you know?
Oh yeah. So it's like it's almost like floating.
Yeah.
Is it off the ground?
Yeah.
And it's sort of, yeah. Cool.
It's just such a cool fireplace. And that's when you go in there and between the vaults and this particular fireplace, you're like, wow, this really is like flashback to mid-century.
And
So
the
yeah,
parking situation, any garage or is it all?
No garage. And this is actually in real estate jargon on the Vineyard. This is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. And what that means in this situation is the concrete pad under this porch is so close to the pond that you could never build that today.
Right.
So that's why I think so many people have looked at it and they go, I can renovate this, I can gut it, I can do those things. Because if you decide to tear it down, you're going to have to get variances and you're going to be pushed way away from the water.
Well, you can work around that by only taking down 49% of it and then rebuilding from there. Is that a possibility?
Not in West Tisbury. West Tisbury is pretty tough.
As soon as you touch it, you're done.
You want to get an engineer out there and understand what approvals you're going to need before you do anything. And that's actually on a lot of properties that on the Vineyard that are pre-existing non-conforming. Let's say they have a shed or something like that, because the lot's not large enough to allow that to have been, it's historically
Right.
up there now.
It's sitting in the setback area. It's something you can't put it there now. So my big question is, okay, so you say there's a concrete pad under this deck. So
Yes,
you walk out from the basement and you're on this concrete slab, which is basically a patio
yeah,
with a roof over it.
exactly.
This deck becomes a roof. Can you enclose that and have a room there with glass sliders to this beautiful view?
I would imagine, I would imagine easy to put screens around there. I
Yeah.
don't, that's not going to be hard at all because nobody's going to know.
So maybe a 3-season porch, they
That's what
would,
I would suggest is 3 seasons.
and then all of a sudden there's now um
There's probably,
luxury vinyl flooring going down and a nice rug in the middle. And
oh yeah, ping
next
pong
year,
table.
maybe a couple, well, it already has glass, so you put in a couple of, oh, you have HVAC going, so you got a vent that just blows heat in there. Now you're 4 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And the underneath part is great because you could put a ping pong table in there. You could put a big TV. You could, it's so large that it
Now you get another
literally,
200 square feet probably.
I
How
would say it's closer to like 700. This thing's big.
No,
The porch is big.
seriously. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
huge.
we're trying to figure out a way that you can get $2 million.
That's it.
Maybe we just figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful view. So the next question is, okay, so everything is really strict and every insect, bird, rock, and tree on the entire island is in some kind of catalog somewhere. Uh, if you wanted to remove a couple of those trees for a larger view in the summer, are you
You
allowed
know,
to?
what you'd want to do if you have trees or any type of vegetation that is invasive, like bamboo, or if you have trees that are not native to the island, the Conservation Commission is more than willing to work with you to get those cleaned up and off the land. Um,
Well,
if
what
you
if it's not invasive? What if it's a maple or an oak or
Well,
sycamore?
but you have to work with them. I mean, they're not in the business of just saying no, 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 no. But they're going to want they'll give you this if you give them that.
Yeah, because there's a tree right there,
Uh-huh.
sort of in the middle, just to, if you're looking at that uh little table, then you go up and there's a support there. It's to the left of that support on the right side, but not the one all the way over. If you took that out, now you have even more of a water view.
Yeah.
Um,
And you could even if they don't want you to get rid of the tree, you can limit up. I mean,
Trim it.
yeah.
And what about so the water's clean?
Hmm.
Is there any sand there, or is it you're walking out to rocks?
Um, there's very little sand. There is some, and
Are you allowed to bring some sand in, like 10 bags of sand from Home Depot and give yourself a little sandy area?
it you may want to maybe a good idea would be to take the position of ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I didn't know. I say that a
uh,
lot. I
yes,
didn't know.
yeah. And now the only thing you couldn't do is build a dock out there.
Right.
That is number one. There's no need.
No one's water skiing there
No,
anyway.
no.
But you can have a little sailboat probably, right?
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
totally do paddleboard.
Yeah.
It's perfect for paddleboarding.
And it's probably good for ice skating. Does it get cold enough
Not
at the Vineyard?
anymore.
No?
Not anymore.
You don't
No,
get ice in the winter? I mean,
rarely.
that could be a good thing for some
Yeah.
people.
Well, the vineyard has, because of the Gulf Stream, in the, like right now, you're in Newton, and I don't know what your temperature is, but I can tell you mine is 77.
I can tell you what, it's today I'm in Needham and it is 83 degrees.
Yeah.
And I
So,
bet, yeah, I bet it feels warmer than that.
So the vineyard is typically 5 to 10 degrees cooler in the summer and 5 to 10 degrees warmer in the winter.
Nice.
So
Very.
you've really, when we lived in Hopkinton, I used to laugh. I called it the epicenter of every snowstorm that
Right.
hit.
Yeah, no, that is the ground zero. Yeah.
It is.
They're up to like Mount Wachusett or
Yeah.
Monadnock Mountain. Yeah, that whole area.
So,
Yep.
so for me, coming from that to here, it's like, this is rest. This is nothing.
And even if you get snow, it goes really quickly.
It does. The nicest thing about if we get snow here that I love is, because again, we're on this aquifer, um, you don't have roads that are plowed with chemicals. So you don't have any buildup of the ugly black snow stuff. It'll
Mhm.
still be, when I lived in Denver, Denver was very similar. And they poured little tiny pebbles and ground them into the snow on the road to
Yeah.
get traction. No
Yeah.
chemicals.
No, that's well, it's a long way from Martha's Vineyard. So to get on and off the island, it's the ferry and yeah,
Planes.
yeah, people have, but they're not driving to Boston. Well, I guess you could fly and then rent a car.
Oh yeah, no, a
Yeah.
lot of people right now, JetBlue, and it could be another one, they're doing flights directly into the vineyard. In the, in the off season, it's Cape Air.
Mhm.
But at this time of the year, we've got JetBlue coming in here all the time. And
It was
it's,
that TV show Wings. I remember that. Wasn't that Cape Air?
yep, that was Cape Air. So at this time of the year, it's easy. It's easier to fly here, because there's two ways to, you can come on a foot ferry, which is the Island Queen, and it launches out of Falmouth, or you can come on the Steamship Authority, which has more frequent ferries, and you can bring your car. But it's getting parking or getting a reservation for a car at this time of the year is always a challenge.
I see. I see. Okay. Anything else you want to say about the house before we move on to the next topic?
Uh, like I put out a little video today while I was at my open house. It's a beautiful spot. It's one of those, and you know this as well as I do, is that you can have the best photographer, but it never quite captures what it's like when you're
Right.
there on a day like today. Just
Right.
can't be done.
How long's it been on the market?
We've been on the market 105 days.
Oh, okay. So it just came on.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm showing it at least once a week. It's going to speak to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You only need one.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So you're in the business for how many years, and where were you before EXP? And how did you transition? What about EXP did you hear about that really called you to the company? Because it is
So
a unique business model.
it is.
We have to be honest.
Absolutely. When I first got my license, I went to work at a it was a one-man show that a friend of mine knew, and he just was an independent broker. I went from him to a larger little independent broker here on the island, and then I went to Sotheby's. And I was at Sotheby's for a number of years, on the vineyard. What I was, I don't know how much your listeners know about franchises, some franchises will have broker owners that are very invested in the training of their staff, making sure they have a good methodology for keeping up with their client base, very, very systems driven. The one that I worked for, I had to build my own contact management system in Excel because he didn't offer it. Sotheby's probably did, but it didn't get transferred down because he would have had to have paid for it. And so I wasn't getting any training other than continuing education, which is fine, but not really any training on how to generate leads, how to drive your business,
How to grow a business. Yep.
all that stuff. Nothing. And
Well, welcome to real estate. That
yeah,
would be true for almost 100% of the agents out there. Very, very few, even when I'm just speaking out of school here. So, a lot of agents are given all the tools. EXP is a perfect example. How many agents are given a full website with AI and a CRM basically for free? They've already paid for it. They already own it and don't use it. And if they do use it, they used it once, and that was when they set it up and put their photo and their contact information in, and then they forgot about it.
yeah.
This business is not a set it and forget it business, but there are many agents that I sell them a house, I probably never speak to them again. Let's face it, that's true for even some of the best agents out there. They're
No,
just
you're
looking for
right.
new business all the time, and they're not managing, and it's tough. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I've had, I don't know, thousands of sales. How do you stay in touch with thousands of people
Yeah.
over the course of, in my case, over 40 years? So it is tough. So I get it. So EXP was
Well, it was,
after Sotheby's?
so I was really frustrated. I was two other agents in the brokerage. We were all three frustrated and looking to make a change. And I happened to be on LinkedIn because in my prior life, LinkedIn was a really important part of how I stayed in touch with people because it was all business. And I have a friend, I had done business with her husband for many, many years. I'd known her for 30 years. And something comes up on my LinkedIn and it says that Marianne Collins has joined EXP. And I had not heard about EXP. And I'm typing, I'm like, what's EXP? Why don't you own a franchise? Because she was with KW. You own a franchise. Why on earth would you get rid of your franchise? They print money. We talk, and because of my history in a corporate world, the one thing that for me hit hard was you could take up to 5% of your gross commission income and the company would buy stock for you at a discount. And because I had been through it at the limited in the 80s, I'd been through stock splits, then I'd gone to Staples, I'd been through stock splits there. So I understood what a young publicly held company with a growth trajectory could do. And I liked the core values. And I can remember going and telling my husband, I said, I'm joining EXP. And he's like, me, what's EXP? And I tell him, I said, do you remember how much fun we had with all that staple stock? And he goes, yeah. I said, buckle up. It's going to happen again. And that was really my primary driver, because the other two people that we were leaving, they elected to go to a different brokerage.
Okay.
And I liked the fact that I could go to EXP. I don't sign a lump. I'm not tied down. If I tomorrow decide to go With somebody else, they let me out of my agreement. We're done and dusted. So I really liked that they were comfortable enough in what they were delivering to give you the flexibility to leave if that's what you want to do. So many others will tie you down with handcuffs.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we're doing. So we're sort of taking this new business model, and a lot of the growth with EXP has to do with their downline MLM mentality with revenue sharing, going out 7 levels. You recruit someone, they recruit someone. You're making money from people eventually that you probably will never meet. And you know, in a perfect world, you'll get rich off of the growth of the company.
Yes.
That's a part that you didn't mention. So now you have what, 86,000 agents at EXP in 24 countries. We started a team, the Castles Unlimited team. That's a national team. We would be international already. We already have agents that would want to join us, but they haven't figured out how to let our teams grow internationally yet. But even agents inside EXP can join our team, and even the residual income that you can earn by bringing someone in who's not with EXP and being their sponsor, you can now be their sponsor at the team as well. So we're growing our team nationally. Yeah. Anything else we should be talking about before we wrap up? It's usually a half-hour show, and we're at about a half hour now.
Oh, that sounds good. Now, I think that the one thing I would share about EXP and also Castles Unlimited is EXP wants to lay or create a platform where you as the owner of your brand, Castles Unlimited, can decide, I want to take this idea with EXP and I want to blow it out because I know I can help some more people achieve their dream. And I just find that intoxicating that a brokerage is so comfortable that they encourage you to go do your thing within some confines about branding and so forth. But I'm always
it's interesting.
with EXP.
It's interesting, and I am surprised that I haven't had, like, I did get a little letter from compliance today. Someone had said something, and who knows what they said. They never reveal who the person is or what they said, but we have a group that's almost 1,850 agents, and now our team is about 60 agents. We only started the team a few months ago, really, where it's now going national, and we're already coast to coast. But you're right. It's all these trademarks that I registered prior to EXP, and they're not just allowing me to use it, these trademarks and the business model and my vision. They're allowing me to share it with agents at the company.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So EXP is more of a platform, and there's technologies, and certainly the business model really encourages the growth of the company.
Yes.
And the individual.
Yes.
So
yes.
You grow, the company grows,
everybody
the people
grows
around you grow. It's an interesting model, because the old model really was focused on brick and mortar. That was very important. It was almost like building little mini clubhouses for real estate agents. And you'd go and you'd sit at a desk and you'd have coffee and donuts, and you'd, share war stories at the water cooler. Yeah. Now the water cooler is the cell phone. You know, we have in our case currently, and it'll be changing at some point, but it's the workplace app.
Mhm.
And agents can share listings. I'm sharing referrals across the
Mhm.
country, things like that. And I think this business model really took off during the pandemic. And now you look at this view on this porch, you know, you can run a full internationally based luxury real estate company off this porch. And you never have to leave this beautiful view, this pond with crystal clean water and perfect weather.
Yes.
12 months out of the year.
Yep.
But honestly, let's talk about that for a second. Everyone says, well, you know, the Cape and the islands, you know, you only get a couple of months of really good weather. I mean,
Um,
when do you say September and October are some of the best months?
oh, people that, you know, people that have children want to come now because the kids are going to be in school. The people that know the Vineyard or the Cape, they want to come in September and October. That's where it's absolutely gorgeous. It's no traffic, no, it's, you know, the restaurants are still open. And actually, I would say that that happens all the way through New Year's here, because again, it's a much milder winter. And now let me tell you, January 2nd, they roll up the sidewalks.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
We will only have like 2 or 3 restaurants open,
Okay.
um, because these people work so hard at this time of the year that they take off that time and they'll close. And different liquor laws require different, um, the restaurants to close for like a specific month, you know, because they've got to do a deep clean, they've got to do this, they got to do this. So anyway, um,
So the vineyard shuts down for an entire month in January? Is that what you're saying?
oh, 3 months, January, February, March.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I was living on the vineyard during those months, what do I have to stock up ahead of time and just
Well, no, you know what it is? It's that, so they're very creative. Those that have a year-round uh, or almost year-round restaurant, Monday, oh, this, now you're going to know what I do. I don't cook. Sundays are half-price pizzas at Rockfish. And then Monday night is 2-for-1 burgers, or, you know, and every restaurant will sort of do something like that because they know they're going to make their money off of the drinks people are going to have. And so they'll give incentives to get you out of the house and go to the restaurants.
well, yeah, so you have good relationships with all these restaurateurs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, pitch my Savage Wiener hot dogs to them. Will I mean I've sold them in Chatham. I sell them around the country. I mean I
I didn't know
mail
that.
order them. Yeah, the gourmet steak hot dogs, and then we have the colossals, which are half pounders. And yeah, go to savagewiener.com. But you and I can talk off the show. But you know, I wanted to ask you what your normal day is, what your schedule is, but your menu throughout the week is much more interesting.
Yes, exactly.
So
Um,
we're gonna wrap the show. You and I, when we get talking, we can talk forever.
yeah.
Unless you want to add anything else, Janet.
I will, so I'm very excited, and I've been wanting to tell you about it. So I have a new agent coming on. Her name is Ann Osterholm, and her brother has a huge business on the Cape with commercial real estate, um, appraisals, all these kind of things. And so I'm excited. Finally got her onboarded. She'll probably do more commercial on the vineyard, But I think that I would love for her to connect with you, Jim, because I know that
Have her
Castle's.
join the team. Castle's commercial is part of this team.
I know.
So we
and
do
so
residential, we do luxury, we do commercial, we do
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, I
Not
am.
so much industrial and R&D. That's a little outside my comfort zone, but
No,
we could do it all.
I was so excited when she came because I know her brother and they do a lot of commercial business over here. I've done some, but it was just one off. So I'm pretty stoked to have her.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap.
Okay.
We're so glad that you joined us today. This is Jim Lowenstern, Janet Leigh Scott, and this is the eXponential Files. Please like us online and watch us next week. Thank you.